Chosen one, stop whatever you are doing for a moment. Do not rush past this message. Do not skip the parts that make you uncomfortable. Do not assume that because you have heard messages about wealth before, this one is going to be the same. I want you to listen with your spirit, because there are seasons when God allows a particular message to find you at the exact moment your heart is ready to receive it. And perhaps you have arrived here after a long financial battle. Perhaps you have been praying for provision. Perhaps you have been asking God to make a way where you cannot see one. Perhaps you have been working hard, yet somehow you always find yourself starting again. Money comes. Then something happens, an unexpected bill, a family emergency, a business failure, a debt, a responsibility you never planned for. And before you know it, what entered your hands has disappeared. You look at your life and wonder, when will I finally experience stability? Maybe you have even prayed, God, I don't want to be rich just for the sake of being rich. I just want enough to breathe, enough to take care of the people I love, enough to stop living every day with the fear that one unexpected problem will destroy everything. If that sounds familiar, hear this carefully. Your financial struggle is not proof that God has abandoned you, and your current condition is not necessarily a prediction of your future. There are people who have spent years in a wilderness and eventually walked into a promise. There are people who were overlooked before they were recognized. There are people who were rejected before they were chosen. There are people who had almost nothing in their hands before God showed them what could happen when they surrendered what they did have. And perhaps your story is still being written. Perhaps you are currently standing in the middle of a chapter that does not make sense. But God sees the entire book, you only see the page. God sees the ending, and this is why you cannot judge your future by your present circumstances. You may look at your bank account and see limitation. God may see preparation. You may look at your lack and see failure. God may see an opportunity to teach you stewardship. You may look at your closed doors and see rejection. God may see protection. You may look at your delay and see punishment. God may see preparation. Sometimes God will deliberately keep you in a small place until your character becomes large enough to carry a larger assignment. That is not rejection. That is preparation. Look at Joseph. Joseph received a dream long before he received the position connected to that dream. The dream came first, then came betrayal, then came the pit, then slavery, then false accusation, then prison. If you had met Joseph in prison, you might have concluded that his life was moving in the wrong direction. But heaven had not lost Joseph's address. God was still working. The prison was not the end. It was part of the preparation. And eventually the same Joseph who had been thrown into a pit became the man responsible for managing resources during a famine. Think about that. God did not simply rescue Joseph from poverty. God developed Joseph's capacity to manage abundance. That distinction matters because sometimes we pray, God, take me out of this. But God is saying, I am teaching you how to become the person who can remain standing when I take you into something greater. There is a difference. You don't only need a blessing, you need the capacity to carry the blessing. You don't only need an open door, you need the wisdom to know what to do after the door opens. You don't only need money, you need the character to prevent money from destroying you. You don't only need influence, you need humility to survive influence. You don't only need success, you need wisdom to remain yourself after success arrives. And perhaps this is why your journey has been slower than you expected. God has been working beneath the surface. There are things He has been removing from you. Fear, scarcity, comparison, impatience, desperation, people-pleasing, the need for validation, the desire to impress people, the habit of spending just to feel important, the belief that someone else's success means there is less available for you. God has been working on these things because He knows that if He gives you more while these things remain untouched, the increase can become dangerous. Think about it. If a person believes their worth comes from money, then more money will never be enough. If their identity comes from possessions, they will constantly need newer possessions. If their identity comes from public recognition, they will become addicted to applause. But when your identity is rooted in God, money becomes a tool. It no longer becomes your master. And that is true wealth. Chosen one, I want you to understand something about the spiritual meaning of abundance. Abundance is not simply having a large bank account. Abundance is having enough grace for the assignment, enough wisdom for the decision, enough courage for the opportunity, enough discernment to recognize deception, enough faith to continue when the answer is delayed, enough strength to rebuild after failure, enough peace to sleep when circumstances are uncertain, enough love to remain generous, enough humility to remember where your help came from. There are wealthy people who are internally impoverished. They have money but no peace. They have houses but no home. They have followers but no genuine relationships. They have possessions but no purpose. They can buy almost anything, yet they cannot purchase one peaceful night. That is not the wealth I am talking about. I am talking about a form of abundance that begins in the spirit. A life where God becomes your source. A life where you stop living from fear. A life where you stop assuming that your future must repeat your past. A life where you begin seeing possibilities again. A life where you understand that what you have been through did not destroy you. It developed you. Now listen carefully. There is a reason Scripture repeatedly speaks about seed. A seed does not look like a forest. A seed looks insignificant. A seed can fit inside your hand. But hidden inside that small seed is potential. Your current resources may look small. Your idea may look small. Your business may look small. Your audience may look small. Your gift may look small. Your opportunity may look small, but never despise small beginnings. The widow in Scripture did not have a warehouse of oil. She had a small amount. The disciples did not have enough food to feed thousands. They had a few loaves and fish. David did not walk into the valley carrying an army. He carried a sling. Moses did not carry a sophisticated weapon. He carried a staff. The lesson is powerful. God does not always begin with what looks impressive. Sometimes He begins with what you already have. So stop asking only God, "What are you going to give me?" Start asking, "God, what have you already placed in my hands? What ability have you been ignoring? What idea keeps returning? What gift have people repeatedly recognized in you? What experience have you survived that could eventually become wisdom? What problem can you solve? What knowledge can you teach? What creativity is sitting dormant inside you? What have you learned through your struggles that someone else desperately needs? Perhaps the thing you are praying for is connected to something God already placed within you. You have been looking outward. God may be telling you to look inward. There is something in you. There is an ability in you. There is creativity in you. There is wisdom in you. There is a testimony in you. And with God's guidance, that seed can become something much larger than you currently imagine. This is why you cannot spend the rest of your life calling yourself unlucky. You cannot keep repeating, "Nothing ever works for me. My family has always struggled. I will always be poor. People like me never get ahead." Be careful with the words you continually speak over your own life. Your circumstances may be difficult, but do not turn a temporary circumstance into a permanent prophecy. You are allowed to say, "I am going through a difficult season." But you do not have to say, "This is all my life will ever be." There is a difference. You are allowed to acknowledge reality without worshiping it. You can see the problem and still believe in God's ability to provide. You can recognize the lack and still expect God to teach you something through it. You can be honest about your struggle without becoming hopeless. Because faith does not require you to deny reality. Faith teaches you that reality is not the only thing that exists. God exists beyond what you can currently see, and this is where divine wealth begins. It begins with a change in vision. Before God changes your circumstances, He may change what you believe is possible. Before He changes your environment, He may change your thinking. Before He increases your resources, He may increase your capacity. Before He gives you the harvest, He may teach you how to plant. And this process can be uncomfortable because growth requires you to release old thinking. You cannot walk into a new season while constantly thinking like the person from the old season. You must become comfortable with change. You must become comfortable with discipline. You must become comfortable with discipline. You must become comfortable with saying no. You must become comfortable with delayed gratification. You must become comfortable with being misunderstood. And sometimes you must become comfortable with building quietly. Not everyone needs to know what God is doing in your life. Some blessings need protection. Some dreams need silence. Some plans need prayer before they need publicity. Remember Nehemiah. He did not tell everyone everything. There were people who would have opposed the work. Sometimes you have to build without explaining yourself to everyone. You do not need to announce every move. You do not need to prove your progress. You do not need to convince people that God is working. Let the fruit speak. There is power in quiet growth. You do not need to tell everyone that you are changing. Just change. You do not need to tell everyone you are building. Build. You do not need to tell everyone you are praying. Pray. You do not need to tell everyone you are preparing. Prepare. One day, what God has been developing privately may become visible publicly. And when that happens, people may say, "Where did this come from?" They did not see the nights you spent learning. They did not see the prayers. They did not see the failures. They did not see the sacrifices. They did not see the moments when you almost quit. They only see the result. But God saw the process, and that is enough. Now hear this next principle: God can give you wealth through unexpected channels. Do not limit God to one person, one company, one job, or one opportunity. Maybe you have been saying, if this one person helps me, everything will change. What if they don't? Will God stop being God? No. Maybe you believe, if I get this particular job, my life will finally be okay. What if that job never comes? Could God have another path? Yes, maybe you are waiting for one particular door, but God may be building another door behind you. Sometimes we become so emotionally attached to the method that we forget the source. God is not obligated to bless you in the way you imagined. He may surprise you. He may use someone you never expected. He may create an opportunity you never planned. He may give you an idea in the middle of an ordinary afternoon. He may connect you with someone during a random conversation. He may use a skill you almost gave up on. He may redirect you into something you initially resisted. This is why discernment matters, because not every open door is divine. Sometimes the enemy can tempt you with something that looks like abundance, but carries destruction. You need spiritual eyes. You need wisdom. You need patience. You need prayer. Before you say yes, ask God, is this truly for me? Before you enter the relationship, ask, will this relationship strengthen my purpose or destroy my peace? Before you accept the opportunity, ask, what is the cost? Before you pursue the money, ask, what will this require from my character? Because some opportunities are too expensive, even when they appear profitable. If you have to sell your integrity for it, it is too expensive. If you have to destroy your peace for it, it is too expensive. The blessing of God does not require you to become a person you were never called to be, chosen one. Perhaps one of the greatest financial breakthroughs God can give you is discernment, because knowing what to reject can save you more than knowing what to accept. There are mistakes you do not have to make. There are partnerships you do not have to enter. There are debts you do not have to create. There are distractions you do not have to entertain. There are people you do not have to chase. There are temptations you do not have to obey. Sometimes your blessing is protected by your ability to say no. And that is why the spiritual person eventually learns that abundance is not just about receiving. It is also about protecting. Protect your peace. Protect your time. Protect your focus. Protect your relationships. Protect your integrity. Protect your relationship with God. Protect the vision. Because anything valuable requires stewardship. Look at the parable of the talents. The servants were given different amounts. The question was not whether they all received the same thing. The question was what they did with what they received. That is powerful. Stop comparing your assignment to someone else's assignment. God did not ask you to manage what He gave them. He asked you to manage what He gave you. Maybe someone else has more. That does not mean your portion is meaningless. Maybe someone else is further ahead. That does not mean you are forgotten. Maybe someone else has a larger platform. That does not mean your voice has no purpose. Be faithful with your portion, because faithfulness is often the doorway to increase. And sometimes the biggest wealth lesson is learning to stop wasting what you already have. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting opportunities. Stop wasting relationships. Stop wasting your energy on people who have no intention of growing. Stop wasting money trying to impress people. Stop wasting your attention on things that leave your spirit empty. You cannot build a wealthy life with a scattered mind. You cannot build a meaningful future while constantly living distracted. You need focus. You need direction. You need discipline. You need prayer. And yes, you need patience, because spiritual abundance does not mean instant abundance. There may still be seasons of waiting. There may still be setbacks. There may still be unexpected expenses. There may still be days when you wonder whether anything is changing, but do not confuse the absence of visible results with the absence of divine activity. A seed grows underground before it appears above the soil. Just because you cannot see the root does not mean the seed is dead. Maybe something is happening beneath the surface. Maybe your mind is being renewed. Maybe your relationships are being rearranged. Maybe God is removing distractions. Maybe you're being positioned. Maybe your character is being strengthened. Maybe your future is being prepared. Do not abandon the process simply because you cannot yet see the harvest. And when the harvest comes, remember the season that taught you how to appreciate it. Because there is something beautiful about someone who has experienced lack and still chooses generosity. Someone who has struggled and still helps others. Someone who has been rejected and still loves. Someone who has known hunger and still shares. Someone who has experienced hardship and refuses to become bitter. That is spiritual wealth. And perhaps God wants to bless you, not simply so you can say, "Look what I have," but so you can say, "Look what God allowed me to become." There is a difference. One is about possessions, the other is about testimony. One creates pride, the other creates gratitude. And I believe many people listening to this are entering a season where their relationship with money is going to change. You are going to stop seeing money as something that controls you. You are going to stop fearing every financial decision. You are going to stop assuming that struggle is your permanent identity. You are going to become wiser. You are going to become more intentional. You are going to recognize opportunities differently. You are going to learn. You are going to build. You are going to make mistakes, learn from them, and continue. You are going to understand that God can work through your hands. And perhaps one day you will look back at the person you are today and say, "I had no idea what God was preparing me for." That day may come, but do not become obsessed with the future. Be faithful today. If God has given you a little, honor the little. If God has given you an idea, develop the idea. If God has given you a skill, improve the skill. If God has given you an opportunity, steward it. If God has given you a relationship, honor it. If God has given you time, use it wisely. If God has given you resources, do not waste them, because the wealth manual is not about learning how to get everything. It is about learning how to steward what God places into your hands. And that is why I want to speak this over you now. May God give you wisdom where you have had confusion. May He give you clarity where you have had uncertainty. May He give you courage where fear has held you back. May He give you discipline where distraction has controlled you. May He give you discernment where deception has surrounded you. May He give you patience where you have wanted to rush. May He give you creativity where you have felt empty. May He open doors that align with His purpose for your life. May He close doors that would have destroyed you. May He remove relationships that are draining your destiny. May He connect you with people who recognize your purpose without exploiting it. May He teach you how to distinguish opportunity from temptation. May He teach you how to distinguish abundance from greed. May He teach you how to distinguish generosity from manipulation. May He teach you how to build without losing yourself. May He teach you how to prosper without forgetting Him. And when your season changes, may you remain humble enough to remember the God who carried you through the season when you had almost nothing. Because sometimes God allows you to experience little so that you learn to appreciate much. Sometimes He allows you to walk through scarcity so that you understand stewardship. Sometimes He allows you to experience rejection so that you stop seeking validation from people. Sometimes He allows you to be overlooked so that you learn to depend upon His approval. Sometimes He lets you walk alone because He wants you to discover that His presence is enough. And perhaps all of it has been connected. The loneliness, the waiting, the rejection, the financial struggle, the closed doors, the uncertainty, the delays. Maybe they were not isolated events. Maybe they were shaping you. Maybe God was stripping away everything you thought you needed so that you could discover what you actually needed. And perhaps that is why you are beginning to feel different. You no longer want the same things. You no longer crave the same attention. You no longer want to impress the same people. You no longer want meaningless relationships. You no longer want to spend your life chasing appearances. Something inside you has changed. You want purpose. You want peace. You want freedom. You want to build something meaningful. You want your life to matter. You want your success to bless more than yourself. That is a different kind of wealth. That is kingdom thinking. Chosen one, your greatest financial breakthrough may begin when you realize that your purpose and your provision can be connected. What if the thing God has called you to do is also connected to the way you will provide for your household? What if your creativity becomes your opportunity? What if your testimony becomes your ministry? What if your knowledge becomes your teaching? What if your experience becomes your expertise? What if the pain you survived becomes wisdom that helps someone else? Do not underestimate your story. Your story contains lessons, your scars contain wisdom, your failures contain information, your mistakes contain warnings, your survival contains strength. Nothing has to be wasted when placed into God's hands. That is why you should stop being ashamed of where you came from. You can acknowledge your past without living inside it. You can say, yes, I struggled. Yes, I made mistakes. Yes, I experienced lack. Yes, I trusted the wrong people. Yes, I lost money. Yes, I failed. But then you can add, but God is still writing my story. That sentence is powerful. God is still writing. Your story is not finished. Your financial chapter is not finished. Your purpose is not finished. Your testimony is not finished. You may be closer to a breakthrough than you realize. But remember, a breakthrough does not always look like a sudden deposit. Sometimes it looks like a new mindset. Sometimes it looks like an idea. Sometimes it looks like a connection. Sometimes it looks like a closed door. Sometimes it looks like an ending. Sometimes it looks like an uncomfortable decision. Sometimes it looks like God telling you to wait. Do not become so obsessed with the form of the blessing that you miss the blessing itself. The blessing may be hidden in the lesson. The blessing may be hidden in the discipline. The blessing may be hidden in the person you are becoming. And when the external blessing finally arrives, you will understand why the internal preparation mattered. You will know how to handle it. You will know how to protect it. You will know how to multiply it. You will know how to share it. You will know how to remain humble. You will know that it did not make you, God did. So, chosen one, don't skip your preparation. Don't rush your process. Don't envy someone else's harvest. Plant your own seed. Water it with prayer. Work on it with discipline. Protect it with wisdom. And trust God with the timing. There is something being built. There is something developing. There is something being prepared. And perhaps you are closer than you think. I want you to close your eyes for a moment if you can. Take a deep breath and imagine releasing every sentence you have ever spoken over yourself because of financial struggle. I will always struggle. I will never have enough. I am unlucky. People like me never succeed. Nothing works for me. Let those words go. They do not have to control your future. Now replace them with faith. God is teaching me. God is developing me. God is guiding me. God is opening the right doors. God is closing the wrong doors. God is giving me wisdom. God is increasing my capacity. God is teaching me stewardship. God is preparing me for what is next. And now pray, Father, I surrender my financial future to you. I surrender my fears. I surrender my anxiety. I surrender the memories of lack. I surrender the mistakes I made. I surrender the opportunities I lost. I surrender the people who disappointed me. I surrender the doors that closed, and I ask you to give me wisdom for the doors that are coming. Teach me to recognize divine opportunities. Teach me to recognize distraction. Teach me to recognize distractions. Teach me to recognize the gifts you have already placed inside me. Show me what I have been overlooking. Show me what I have been afraid to develop. Show me what needs to change within me. Give me discipline. Give me patience. Give me courage. Give me wisdom. Give me discernment. Give me creativity. Give me the strength to work. Give me the humility to learn. Give me the generosity to share. And if you bless me with abundance, never allow abundance to become my God. Let my resources serve your purpose. Let my success bless my family. Let my opportunities create opportunities for others. Let my testimony encourage people who are still struggling. Let my life become evidence that you can transform a person from the inside out, Father. I do not ask only for wealth. I ask for wisdom. I do not ask only for increase. I ask for capacity. I do not ask only for open doors. I ask for discernment. I do not ask only for opportunities. I ask for the courage to walk through the right ones. And when you bless me, remind me where the blessing came from. Amen. Chosen one, remember this: you are not required to become wealthy overnight to know that God is working. You do not need $1 million bank account to know that your life has value. You do not need public recognition to know that your purpose is real. And you do not need to understand the entire journey today. You only need to take the next faithful step. One step, then another, then another. And eventually you may look back and realize that those small steps carried you farther than you ever imagined. The wealth manual was not hidden from you. It was being written through your experiences, through the lessons, through the failures, through the waiting, through the prayers, through the moments when you had little and still gave thanks, through the moments when you were rejected and still kept going, through the moments when nobody believed in you and you continued believing that God had not abandoned you. That was preparation. That was training, that was development, and now you are entering a different level of understanding. You are learning that wealth is not simply what enters your hands. It is what God develops inside you so that what enters your hands does not destroy you. So walk forward without desperation, walk forward without envy, walk forward without comparison, walk forward without fear, walk forward knowing that your source is greater than any one opportunity. If one door closes, God remains God. If one person says no, God remains God. If one business fails, God remains God. If one opportunity disappears, God remains God. Your provider was never the door. Your provider was always God. And that understanding will change the way you walk. You will stop begging people. You will stop chasing validation. You will stop allowing desperation to make decisions for you. You will become patient. You will become wise. You will become discerning, and you will begin moving differently, not because you think you are better than everyone else, but because you finally understand who you are becoming. You are becoming a steward, a builder, a servant, a creator, a giver, a person capable of carrying responsibility, a person capable of carrying increase without losing humility. And that is the kind of person God can trust with more. So, chosen one, lift your head. Your story is still being written. The chapter of lack does not have to be the final chapter. The chapter of struggle does not have to be the conclusion. The chapter of rejection does not have to define you. There is still time. There is still purpose. There is still opportunity. There is still grace. There is still growth. And there is still a God who can take what looks insignificant and breathe purpose into it. Do not despise your seed. Do not despise your beginning. Do not despise your hidden season. Do not despise your small opportunity. Do not despise the gift inside you, because you never know what God intends to build from something that currently looks small. The same God who multiplied the oil can multiply your capacity. The same God who fed thousands with little can show you what is possible when what you have is surrendered. The same God who brought Joseph from prison to influence can change the trajectory of a life. The same God who led Israel through the wilderness can lead you through your uncertain season. So keep walking, keep praying, keep learning, keep building, keep believing, and when abundance begins to appear, remember the wilderness. When the doors begin opening, remember the doors that closed. When people begin celebrating you, remember the nights nobody knew your name. When your hands become full, remember what it felt like to have little. And let that memory keep your heart humble, because the goal is not simply for you to say, "I became wealthy." The deeper testimony is, God transformed my life. That is the wealth that matters. That is the abundance that lasts. That is the blessing that reaches beyond you. And perhaps this is the beginning of your new chapter. Not a promise that you will never face another financial difficulty, but a declaration that you will no longer approach your financial future with the same fearful mindset. You will approach it with wisdom, with faith, with discipline, with prayer, with purpose, and with the confidence that your present circumstances are not powerful enough to cancel what God is doing in your life. Chosen one, the season is teaching you. The process is preparing you. The wisdom is increasing. The capacity is expanding. The vision is becoming clearer, and what God has placed inside you may be far more valuable than you currently understand. So do not give up now. You may be closer than you think. Keep your heart clean.